Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Easy English Class. I'm Marco, and today we're tackling something that confuses almost every English learner. Three tiny words: be, being, and being.
Hi, friends. I'm Erica. This episode is actually specially made because one of our subscribers requested it. And if you're watching right now, you'll definitely know we're talking to you. Thank you so much for your request.
We love it when you tell us what you want to learn. This podcast is not just our podcast, it's your podcast. So today we're talking about these three small but powerful words that look similar, sound similar, but are used in completely different moments.
And here's the best part there's no grammar stress today, no rules on the board, no boring definitions, just conversation, real life, easy English. By the end of this podcast, you'll feel more confident. Not perfect, but confident.
And confidence is more important than perfection, always. So grab your notebook and let's get started. Okay, Erica, before we dive in, let me ask our listeners something. When you hear the words be, being, and being, do you panic? Do you think, oh no, grammar, and your mind goes blank?
Yes, that's such a common feeling. And here's another question. Have you ever avoided using these words because you weren't sure which one was correct? Like, you wanted to say something, but you just stayed silent instead.
Exactly. And that fear is worse than the mistake itself. Making a mistake in English is not a crime. It's actually a sign that you're trying. Silence is more dangerous than a wrong sentence.
So true. Today, if you're listening and thinking, I'm not good at English, let me stop you right there. You're not bad at English. You're just learning. And learning takes time.
Now, let's make this simple. These three words, be, being, and being, they're not grammar monsters. They're just words connected to different moments of life. Not grammar moments, life moments.
Perfect. Let's break them down one by one. Super simple, no stress.
Let's start with the simplest one, the word be. Be is like a base word, a starting point. We often use be when we talk about something in general or something that's not fixed yet, like a wish, a goal, or advice.
Let me give you a very easy example. I say, I want to be confident in English. I'm not saying I am confident right now. And I'm not saying I was confident before. I'm talking about a wish, a goal, something I want in my life.
Exactly. So be is often connected to dreams or advice or instructions. For example, a teacher says, be quiet, please. Or a friend says, be careful. Or your mother says, be kind. These are not long actions. They're simple ideas.
And these are very common in daily English. Think about your own life. Say it with us. I want to be maybe successful, maybe confident, maybe better at English. That's be.
Here are more real life examples. When you're starting a new job, a friend might say, just be confident. You'll do fine. Or when someone gives advice, please be on time tomorrow, or try to be patient with yourself. See, be is about how to act, what to become.
Now, listeners, quick practice. Think right now. What do you want to be? Say it in your head or out loud. I want to be maybe happy, maybe fluent in English, maybe successful at work. That's how you use be.
Now let's move to being. This is where people usually panic a little. But don't worry, we're going to make it super simple.
Been is usually connected to the past, but not just any past. It's about experience. Something that happened before, something you lived through, something that still matters now.
Let me give you a simple example. I have been tired today. I'm talking about my experience. I felt tired earlier, and maybe I still feel tired now. Another example. I have been to New York. I'm not saying I'm in New York now. I'm saying I experienced it before.
So, been often means I was there, or I experienced it, or this happened, and it still matters. Listeners, this is important. You don't need to remember grammar names, just remember the feeling. Been equals experience, life experience, good or bad.
For example, you might say, I've been nervous speaking English. That's an honest sentence. Many of you feel that. But now you're trying, you're listening, you're improving. And that's something to be proud of.
Now, here's something really important about been it never stands alone. It needs support, it needs have or has. You don't say, I've been tired. You say, I have been tired. Think of been as a word that doesn't like being alone. It always wants a partner.
Perfect way to remember it. Been is social. It needs company. So always. I have been. She has been. We have been. They have been. Always with have or has.
Let's give more real life examples. Think about how people talk about their day. Someone might say, I've been busy today. This doesn't mean they're busy forever. It means the day started, things happened, and the effect continues until now.
Or think about emotions. I've been stressed lately. I've been feeling tired. I've been worried about my future. These sentences are very human. They show duration, not just a moment, but a period of time.
And been is perfect for talking about life experiences. I've been to that restaurant before. I've been learning English for 2 years. You're sharing your journey, your effort, your experience.
Now let's talk about the third word, being. This word talks about now, something happening at this moment or around this time.
For example, I say, I'm being honest with you. That means right now, in this moment, I'm telling you the truth. Another example, the child is being very quiet today. That means today, not always, but specifically today.
So, being is temporary. It can change, like moods or situations. Let's compare two sentences to show the difference. If I say, he is quiet, that sounds like his personality, like he's always quiet. But if I say, he is being quiet, that sounds like right now, today, in this moment.
Exactly. Being often talks about behavior, especially temporary behavior. Imagine you meet a friend who is usually cheerful, but today they're quiet. You might say, You're being very quiet today. Is everything okay?
That sentence doesn't judge the person forever. It only talks about this moment. That's why being feels emotional. It notices change.
We also use being a lot in relationships. People say things like, You're being rude, you're being kind, you're being too hard on yourself. Notice how emotional these sentences are. They're not labeling a person forever. They're talking about a moment.
And that's important because it makes communication softer. Saying you are rude sounds permanent and harsh, but saying you're being rude leaves space for change. It means right now you're acting this way, but you can change.
Now, let's connect all three words with one situation to show how natural they work together. Imagine someone learning English. They might say, I want to be fluent one day. That's a goal, using be.
Then they say, I have been practicing every night. That shows effort over time. Using been.
And finally, I'm being more confident when I speak now. That shows change in behavior happening right now, using being.
Same person, same journey, three different words, three different meanings. And when you understand them like this, they stop feeling scary. They start feeling useful.
Let's do a quick review to make sure it's clear in your mind. Be equals dream, advice, idea, how to act. Been equals experience, past that still matters, journey. Being equals happening now, temporary behavior, change.
Now let's talk about mistakes, but without fear. Because honestly, mistakes are part of learning.
Here's my question for you. Have you ever been so afraid of making a mistake that you just stopped speaking? That's the biggest mistake of all. Silence is worse than a wrong sentence.
Exactly. Let's look at some common mistakes and fix them gently. Some learners say, I am been tired. We gently correct it to, I have been tired, because been needs have or has.
Another common one, people say, I being happy today. The correct sentence is, I am being happy today. Or more naturally, I'm being very positive today. Being needs am, is, or are before it.
And remember, even if you make these mistakes, it's okay. The idea is correct. You're thinking about past, present, and feelings. You just need to adjust the structure a little bit.
Communication first, grammar later. Flow matters more than perfection. If you say something wrong the first time, just say it again. That's learning.
Now let's talk about how to practice these words in real life. First method, connect them to your life. Think about your goals and say, I want to be, maybe, I want to be more confident. I want to be fluent in English.
Second method, talk about your experiences with been. Every evening, think about your day and say, today I have been, maybe, today I have been busy. Today I have been productive. This week I have been practicing English.
Third method, notice your behavior with being. When you feel different than usual, say, I'm being, maybe I'm being more careful today. I'm being very focused right now. I'm being patient with myself.
Fourth method, create one complete story like we did. I want to be fluent. I have been practicing every day. I'm being more confident now. Practice this pattern with different topics.
And fifth, here's my final question for you. Which of these three words confuses you the most? Be, been, or being? Think about it and make that your focus for this week.
Don't try to master all three at once. Pick the one that's hardest for you. Practice it every day for 1 week, then move to the next one.
Wow, we covered so much today. Let's quickly recap. B is for dreams, advice, and goals. How you want to act or what you want to become. Been is for experiences and past that still matters. It shows your journey over time. Being is for behavior right now. Temporary actions and changes.
We learned that been always needs have or has. It doesn't like being alone. We learned that being always needs is, or are before it. And we learned that making mistakes is completely normal and okay.
If learners remember only one thing from this episode, it should be this: English is not about perfection, it's about connection. Be helps you express who you want to become. Been helps you share your journey. Being helps you talk about who you are right now.
Now, here's our final challenge for you. Which sentence will you practice this week? I want to be, or I have been, or I'm being. Write it in the comments and share with us.
Yes, please write in the comments. Tell us which word was hardest for you and which sentence you'll practice. We read every comment and will help you.
Thank you so much for listening to Easy English Class. If this episode helped you understand be, been, and being more clearly, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and share with friends learning English.
Until next time, keep practicing. You don't need to rush. You don't need to fear mistakes. Just keep speaking, keep listening, and slowly, English will start feeling natural.
See you in the next episode. Remember, you're not bad at English, you're just learning.
Goodbye, everyone. You got this.